Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am absolutely thrilled to welcome back Anne-Sophie Dumetz. Hi, Anne-Sophie.
Hello.
I'm really thrilled because actually I've already had a conversation with Anne-Sophie in the past, and we're just revisiting sort of her journey and what she's been up to, which is amazing. Anne-Sophie is a coach. She is the founder of She's a Changemaker, which is amazing, amazing. Anne-Sophie describes herself as a seeker, a possibilitarian, which I love, a truth teller, and also a vision architect. Oh, I love it. So, Anne-Sophie, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a bit more about who you are and
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me again, Linda. It's fun to have part two of a conversation. So, yes, my name is Anne-Sophie. It is French, and I founded my business is named She's a Changemaker. I'm seeing She's a Changemaker as something I'm building to become a global media and training empire for women who feel like they were born to make a big impact in the world and want to use three ingredients of love, playfulness, and language as sort of tools to empower and actually become the change you want to see in your own world. I'm really, really driven by that Gandhi quote that when he said, be the change you want to see in the world. I have always reframed it a little bit to be the change you want to see in your own world, starting in your heart and in your mind with the language you speak, because that's really the first home. And the second part, being a mother, is, I had one day the opportunity to answer my daughter's question, which was, what can I be when I grow up? And I said, well, you can be anything you want. Would you say the same thing?
yeah.
I think so. Right?
Yeah,
yes,
of course, of course.
And then at that time, which was 5 years ago, realized that even though I had a great career and had been, on national TV and radio and had big, amazing experience, not just in media, but in communications and marketing, having done stuff that really impacted millions of people in Canada, I was totally miserable and not being the person I wanted to be as a grown-up. And I thought, wow, I'm completely not in integrity with who I want to be as a human being. And if I'm here to say to my kids, be the change you want to see in the world and do whatever you want, then I better start for myself. I'm grown up now and it's time. So now working in coaching and communications, I'm really working with women to help them come home to who they truly feel they are.
Yeah.
Not, become the child you used to be, but be the woman that you're meant to be, the person you've always wanted to become, and figure out the path to get there. So your audience might hear this and feel like, well, that's all personal junky, personal growthy type of stuff. And it really is. The implementation of that to me really falls with knowing that the ultimate outcome of anything you do with your business is you, and being that person who's either serving as much as you want, helping as many people as you want, being that change maker, that difference maker in your own life and in your own world through the actions that you take. Yes. So that requires courage and confidence and doing stuff sometimes that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah. And I love this. I love how you said it requires courage and confidence and that you're not always comfortable doing it. So can you sort of talk about, is that where you came from? Or did you come from a family where everybody had courage and confidence and you had a perfect upbringing of
Well, I had the perfect upbringing to make me who I am today, but I wouldn't say it was perfect by the books. Even though I work on communication and I really trust in your voice and using that, I was this very, very shy little girl. I was voiceless, shy, very intimidated by everything. I never spoke up for myself. Definitely bullied a lot. Sometimes bullied because I couldn't speak. I remember having a classmate say, "Can I borrow a Kleenex?" And I was like, he spoke to me, I can't say anything. I was really completely numb. So that was me. That's really where I started. And my whole upbringing felt really, really awkward to me. I was super awkward. The age 2 to 20, I was the awkward kid through and through, really never confident or believing in myself very much. everything changed for me in my 20s when I decided to leave everything behind. And I actually went on a solo journey to Europe and started to journal and started to hear my own voice. And it was really through the discovery of the voice that I always had and started to actually hear it that I started to hear myself and feel like, you know what, it's okay to want what I want. It's okay that I'm not going to do what people tell me, and started to explore that. And in that 4-month journey, I went from being, before I'd left, like I weighed 220 pounds probably. So like a lot more than I should, being 6.5 or so. So I lost about 50 pounds in 4 months by just really becoming happy. I didn't do any crazy diets or anything, but I started to live. I started to live.
And I love this because I actually interviewed somebody a couple of weeks ago, or before, and she had a very similar story in that she actually lost weight with her mindset. So similar to you.
Yeah, and I'm sure I did some things, and it's funny because like since then I've had my weight's changed, it's gone up and down and whatever, along with how confident or brave I felt or in touch with me I felt. And I've gone back to my journals. I remember going back a year ago going like, what did I do? Like, what was the special secret sauce of this experience? And there was just literally nothing that was that special, but I was taught, journaling about what turned me on as a human being, exploring nature, spirituality, talking to angels and connecting with people, helping others. Like it was just me coming home to me.
Yeah.
And it was really that root of, I have to hear my own voice. And even though that was the start of a really big personal growth journey, learning from people like Wayne Dyer, getting into neuro-linguistic programming. Just reading 10,000 books, who knows how many, but realizing too that it doesn't matter how many books sit on my shelf, like the true help, it's just shelf help unless I actually do my own work.
I love that. Yes. Yes. Because as I say, information is not transformation. You won't miraculously transform just because you have this information if you're not trying to put it in practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I would say, I was 19 turning 20 when that journey happened. And I probably spent 7 years knowing I need to get out of my shelf. I need to start speaking up. I need to feel okay showing the world that I'm a decent person, like just a human.
Yeah.
But thinking about doing it could not equal the impact that just doing did.
Yes.
Like it's in the doing. And that's confidence really comes through action.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like working with women entrepreneurs these days, so mostly I work with women who have already a bit of a foundation in their business. Like you've had clients, you've had marketing, you have a sense of what it's like to run an online based business, mostly service providers who have the heart to create some kind of a legacy with their contribution. The missing key typically is confidence. So it's confidence is that missing currency that will keep a lot of women shortchanged.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah, because we live, and you and I have discussed this before, but we kind of live in a society where people don't even feel like, well, first of all, they don't necessarily have the awareness of who they are and what they really want, just because of the they're probably victims of the shelf help, as you call it, rather than the self help, and they don't give themselves permission to want what they want, even if they can figure it out sometimes. And I know that you've called this the desire disconnect. Can you share your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I came up with that a little while ago when I was really, when I made that transition from pursuing the career I was told I needed to have to starting to just lead my own path, and realized in terms of, okay, I have to listen to what's in my heart, listen to what I want. And I started to also get in conversations with other women around that. And the act of actually verbalizing a desire can be so challenging Because in that act of speaking comes the, oh my God, what are they going to say? What if they don't think it's okay for me? And it's this bullshit voice, the bitchy voice that lives in our head sometimes, like, man. So that showed up, and I realized too, there was one conversation with my husband when he asked me, so what do you think? Do you like this or this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it was just clear. Like, just this panic almost got over me. And I realized, you know what? Like, I think most women, we're raised in a society where we're told to be a lot of things. Men too, to some extent, but historically, we're socially, over generations, have been told to be a certain way.
Yes.
And when we're wanting to pursue desires that are somewhat rebellious, hey, I'm going to build my own big empire, like whatever it is, like big dream, it goes against the grain of society's desire for you. So there's this like power dynamics of, is it okay for me to want what I want? I don't feel safe wanting what I want. And there could be a history of having expressed a desire somewhere in the past, and you were told, no, that's not good for you. Let me tell you what you want to do instead. So that desire disconnect is actually a state that a lot of women live in but don't realize it. A woman who has desire disconnect will be pretty clear about what she really, really, really wants, like the hell yes, what she really, really doesn't want, the really like heck no. And in between, there's a zone of 90% of stuff that's like this big gray zone. And however big this gray zone is, where you're kind of like, I don't know. Or even like go to the restaurant, you say, I'll have what he's having. You know, always defaulting to somebody else's opinion. That's actually that zone really indicates how much somebody is able to really trust themselves. Or lack of trust, right?
Yeah, lack of trust, yeah.
So just to give your audience some context why I'm thinking, like, this sounds kind of academic. I studied women's studies, which is looking at empowerment and disempowerment and dynamics between genders and with yourself. So I kind of bring that lens to this conversation because, I mean, until you understand the real problem, it's hard to solve it.
Yes. Yeah. Of
so
course. That's like everything, right?
Yeah. So, you know, like maybe somebody is sitting here going like, wow, I think maybe I have a bit of desire disconnect. So how do you get out of that?
Yes.
How do you get out of that? And I talked earlier about playfulness. So games and play, it really brings you back to your essence as a human being. Like as a kid, you show up into the world, you're like, you know, so excited. You want to eat the world. It's so fun, right?
Yeah.
So it's that sense of playfulness, and you want to pleasurably reconnect to your true desires and dreams, to yourself, and start to make it safe to want what you want. So it's about really experimenting and kind of not putting so much pressure on getting it right. Is this the right dream? Is this the right thing for me? Like, just experiment. And so get curious. It's so, you know, in terms of if you're looking for clarity in your business, if you're looking to really trust, you know, your thing, well, you got to start to see, like, do I trust myself to make the right, I don't know, food choices or activity choices? It's like you almost have to take that experience of trusting yourself and knowing what you want outside of the context where it's the biggest hurdle.
Yes.
Like a safe zone.
Yeah, I've heard like bring it down to the like a really small unrelated thing which you're not really attached to. So it's like, what am I going to wear today?
The red shirt, like yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it really doesn't matter what it is today, but like just make a choice. Yeah.
There's also, I want to give your audience this really edgy but fun trust exercise. So next time you go on a walk and you're, let's say, in a field and you know there's nothing bad can happen, like it's just you and some grass. Okay, so you decide to just get connected to your body, take a few breaths, and say, okay, I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to go to, and you pick a point, and you walk with your eyes closed to that point, and you try to trust yourself to feel safe while walking to where you decided you're going to go.
Nice, yeah, good. And
it's edgy because you do it. You like the first time I did that, I took like 3 steps, and I was like, whew. I don't know. I'm like, okay, I'm safe. I'm good. I'm safe. Like, so you give yourself the little I'm safe pep talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So if you had to say, like, what's the biggest thing or the things that you've had to overcome to actually go from, you know, the shy, like voiceless Anne-Sophie that you were to who you are today, which is an extraordinary, authentic. I mean, and I just have to say this, like, if people haven't seen you, if they don't know who you are, I mean, they should definitely check you out on Facebook, because you have some of like really gorgeous Facebook lives there. I mean, Anne-Sophie, you are really authentic, really like awesome. Anyway, so what would you say has been, or was the thing or the things that you've had to overcome that really sort of transformed you?
I'm like, it doesn't feel like any one specific thing. There's a sense of knowing, like, I think there's the integrity part that you brought up is actually really important. It's about being honest with myself about where am I really at and where do I really want to go. So knowing that my soul won't rest until I've done the work that I'm here to do, like I just won't ever quit, then what do I need to do to become the person who can do that? So
I love that.
So I have so many stories that pop into my mind when you ask me this question. I've had to, like, after my story that I shared earlier about going to France and losing weight, like I had the young 20s heartbreak, and I moved to Honduras, and I had all kinds of crazy traveling things. But I had a burnout at that point when I was teaching English in a bilingual school. My partner at the time was having severe bipolar episodes, but we didn't know that yet. And he was suicidal. I'm 21. Like, it was kind of crazy. But I was just like, give. I'm going to show you a quote, just a sec here.
Yeah.
Okay. I was Superwoman, but I didn't realize the I'm awesome, but I'm not Superwoman part. I was being Superwoman, and I was in this space of I must save everyone else from whatever they had going on. So I was putting everybody else before me. And that's a really, really big lesson. And I call this, like, for women, I think it's usually a lot of women have Superwoman virus. It's kind of like yeah, because it's socially constructed. I got it from my mother, and she got it from her mother, and she got it from her mother, and her mother, and her mother, and mother, and her aunts and her friends and whatever. So I got to this burnout point where I had to recommit to my own health. And it was a friend who said to me, like, look, like, you're severely burnt out. You got to take care of yourself. And I'll always remember this moment of just letting the pressure drop and taking a breath, going like, right, like, I am useless to anyone if I'm useless to me. I have to love myself first.
Yeah.
And in our work as coaches and leaders, it's really coming back home to this nurture and this self-care and this self-love, and loving yourself is not a selfish act. You could only, like, your heart will grow, the capacity to do things expands the more we nurture and love ourselves.
Yeah. And so how would you say what would you say to somebody who's really struggling with that now? Like, what is the how to love yourself? Because we do hear a lot of it, right?
Yeah. So I the first easiest way to remember is learning to say no to others means saying yes to yourself.
Yes.
So it's almost like looking around at what are you saying yes to that really is a no, because it's actually taking away from your vibrant self, from who you truly are. So, and to be that phrase, saying no to others means saying yes to yourself. I'm pretty sure I came up with it around that time, like in my young 20s, because I remember being saying that for a long time. And it's been recommitting to that. It's almost like you got to wake up every day and recommit to that. Like, what am I here to do? Who am I here to be? What are my yeses and what are my nos? And having clear boundaries.
Yes.
So the boundaries, like, it starts from inside. Setting
boundaries, and you respecting them and getting other people to respect them as well is definitely a major act of self-love.
Yeah.
Which I would say, especially a people pleaser, or, somebody with the Superwoman virus, like you said, is a difficult thing to sort of get to at the beginning.
And I'll say, like, in my own personal journey, my dad left my home for when I was around 2. And I've been diagnosed with ADHD, which means every emotion you live like crazy amplified. And so I think when he left and I didn't get a warning, hey, I'm leaving tomorrow, I'll see you soon. There was nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I think I went through some kind of PTSD situation. And so I remember growing up being in this dynamic where I always felt I had to chase my father to receive attention and love. And so I think this impacts the boundaries and then what you say yes to, what you say no to, the people pleaser aspect. Mm-hmm. So wanting to take care of others because it's going to mean then maybe they'll love you. So that's where the loving yourself first is important, because you, like each one of us has the capacity to fill our own love tank in whatever way. So, and I recommend the 5 love languages is a really great tool to figure out what is the way that you receive love. They have a great quizzes on their site. So for me, like words of affirmation are really important. Touch is important, quality time. But that's why when I started to really journal, I started to realize this is who I am. This is what I want. This is what brings me to life. This is what I'm appreciative about life. And I journal. I have like 5 journals I'm always writing. So
5 different ones that are on the go.
Yeah, so I have like gratitude evidence journal. I have journals about what I'm creating. I have just random journal. I made a decision that I needed more than one journal so that no matter when I wanted to write, I had paper and I could write it somewhere that I wouldn't lose it. So
I love this. I love this. I really love this because I mean, I'm a recovering non-journaler, and
I like that.
And so I was like, and the story was that, you know, it's like, God forbid anybody ever really truly found out who I really was, and like even myself, right? And so it's like, if you're actually writing it down, you might figure it out, and like if somebody else figured it out, right?
Yeah.
But I love the idea of having multiple journals, because it really gives the flexibility or the sort of spontaneity of saying, hey, like I could put it in here, I could put it somewhere else.
It kind of comes back to the whole being told you have to do things a certain way. Because I was told you need to just have one journal on the go, which was what I did. Then when I realized, no, actually, it doesn't really matter where I journal, if it's linear or whatever. What really matters is that I journal.
Yes.
All it is.
I love that. It's awesome. Awesome.
And the other thing I've been doing recently is some voice journaling. So on my phone, I have a few recording apps. And so I go out in the morning, have a morning walk, typically, half an hour. And I look like the crazy person who's talking to herself. But I do self-creation. I really use my voice to create my new story and really what I'm stepping into. Yes. And remind myself, because I think when you're anybody who's in the phase of self-creation and transformation and you're becoming something you're not, your reptilian brain's going to have freak out moments and not feel safe. Yes. So the voice, so I talked about language, love, and play are being 3 really key elements of transformation in the work that I do. And the way, when I go on a walk and I record myself, first, it's fun. It gets my body moving. And then I can use my words super intentionally to actually construct my new reality or remind myself of what I'm building. So rather, because I could choose to be the victim who's like, oh, poor me, and this is going on and blah, blah, blah. But I don't want more of that. Wherever your energy goes is what grows. Like that's where things are building. So it's like going into the kitchen and only paying attention to the thing that's really delicious as opposed to the giant pile of dishes, right? Like it's like really paying attention to what you want more of.
Yes.
And I find the voice journaling has been super fun because it's allowed me, there's a few different ways that I use my voice to self-create and co-create with me. But on mornings that I feel slumpish, I've had some energy, my energy was drained. I'm getting better today, but I've had a few weeks of just low to But there's still a few mornings I got up, showed up for myself, put my earbuds on, and before I could use my voice, I can go back and listen to my own audios. And just hearing my own voice talking through where I'm going, what I'm growing, what's working, all that stuff. It's like in 3 minutes, my energy completely shifts.
Yeah.
So it's magical.
And
It's really
it's literally like from a neuroscience perspective, it's actually proven that if you
yeah,
do that, it literally will change the connections in your brain.
yeah,
It literally will. So, I
yeah,
mean, that's brilliant, and I love that you record it and then you listen to it again, because
yeah,
it's really as you said, you know, it's focusing on what's delicious in the kitchen rather than the pile of dishes. I
yeah.
love it. No, but it is. It's true. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so it's been, and so I think like that, hearing your own voice and using your language to create what you want, that's really where my heart's after. It's always been after. And that's where when I journal, it's super intentional. I used to journal in a very victim dramatic way before I had more of an awakening, I guess. Now it's, I will only focus on what is actually helping to build up what I intend to create and who I intend to be.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it
And
takes choosing. It takes loving myself enough to be that person, and it takes having like mental plasticity enough, like being playful enough to allow myself to explore what's
yeah.
there. So, you know, for your viewers, if you have a journal, you can write down like, who's even time travel to the end of your day, and like, what does your future self want by the end of today? Who do you want
Yes.
to be? How do you want to feel? Like, what are you going to celebrate before the end of the day? Like, write that down and then say it. I really love moving my body through it, which is why the walking works for me.
Yeah.
um, and even just like another walking exercise is, you know, even just saying to yourself, I'm showing up to the life I'm creating, and I'm stepping into my future now, and you just actually step into it. Like, you just,
Yeah, like physically step
yeah,
into it. Yeah.
you can move into it. You're like, this right now is the future of 10 seconds ago. So
Yeah, of
keep
course.
creating.
I
Yeah.
love it. Oh, this is so awesome. So, Anne-Sophie, if you were to give, you know, the viewers sort of maybe it's one tip or a couple tips of like the most important things for them to know, remember, or do in regards to, you know, finding their voice and getting their confidence, what would you say it is?
Yeah. So, okay. Right now, the way that I'll focus things is, if you're someone who has the desire to make a great impact, you know, you have a message, you know, you have a voice that must matter. That must matter. Sorry, I got distracted by what I was seeing on my screen here. So if you know you want to make a difference, then you have to figure out a way to almost trick yourself to getting clear. Because clarity is an elusive thing. You can chase clarity about something new all the time. Every solution just brings a new problem, and it can stay the same always. So if in your heart you feel like you're a change maker, what needs to happen for your own clarity and your own sanity is, it's important to name and claim that sense of that empire worthy container umbrella for the work that you're here to do.
Mm.
So, you know, as an example, she's a change maker. I know it's about voice, choice, committing to that. And I'm focusing on working with women getting into the media, because when you decide you're going to get your message heard, you know you're going to need media. And the moment you decide you need media, you're going to get your ass clear about what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So
Otherwise,
that's the gameful aspect. So I actually use what I like is, I recommend, you know, using media interviews, using opportunity building things in your marketing as a way to get yourself clear. So you decide what you're going to be doing, and then in the doing, the clarity comes. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So it's like you want to see the picture of the big puzzle and then figure out the pieces.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing it the other way around, figuring out what are the tactics I need, the social media tactics, the marketing tactics. But you need to think about the bigger campaigns that fit into the even greater goals.
Yeah.
So it really, really requires taking a stand for your true zone of genius, what you're here to do, whose life you're here to help, what are the clear offers that you want to bring out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to feel simpler than you think it will be. Like, I mean, if you look at a brand like Nike, they have one thing, just do it. And then it's short, it's small, it's elegant, and at the same time, it fits everything that they ever want to do. So it's a simple umbrella. So for someone who feels like they have that calling, it's important to decide I want to find my umbrella. If it always feels like I'm not clear enough, my offers are not jiving enough, my messaging isn't, just resonating deeply with who I am and who I'm here to be, then that just means that you haven't taken a big enough, like a high level stance enough on the greater impact you want to have. And the way that it happens, as I've experienced it, is there's a sense of blending, looking at the person's story, like who they've been, where they came from, some of the things they've done, and how it ties in with their desires about who they also are feel like they need to become. So it's really, it really weaves in the past, the present, the future. It weaves in your soul, your desires. It weaves in the soul of the people whose life you really feel like you're meant to change. So it's a multifaceted experience of really surrendering to the calling and naming it.
Yeah. And I mean, and one of the things I often hear as well is, I'm X age, like, and name it, right? I've heard people in their 20s say this. I've heard people in their 30s say 40, 50, like whatever, 60 say, oh, it's too late. Like, it's too late for me. And what I love about what you just said is actually the wisdom of the journey will inform the sort of purpose. So it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what age you are. Actually, it is possible, and it's never too late.
Yeah,
I love the way that you've described that. It's amazing.
Yeah, so I know it's kind of, I'm giving a concept and an idea, and because the first thing that you have to do as the viewer, the person who's listening here, for me is commit. Like, is this your path? Is this your choice? And if you're going to commit to being a difference maker, if you know in your bones that you have some kind of a legacy to create in whatever is your zone of expertise, then choose it. Choose to choose yourself in this capacity, because it's really easy to choose to avoid it. It's really easy to not choose it. And if ever anyone likes TED Talks, check out Amy Chang's TED Talk on how to make difficult choices. But essentially, she's researched choice, and the thing that holds people away from their own power is not fully choosing what they're doing. Yeah. I've done that like 10,000 times, people. Like, I'm walking this talk and learning and choosing. And so, and waking up and doing voice journaling, I start my key phrase that I'll start was, that I'm here to remember the creature. Oh, that's funny. I mean, I'm remembering the future I'm here to create. Yeah. Like, I want to remember my future because I know it. I know my vision. I know who I'm here to be. And it's a matter of surrendering to that enough to take the actions I can take today. And that are aligned to that. Yeah. The whole picture. Picasso didn't know his life's work until it was done, but he had life's work to do. Yeah. So it's like, start with choosing to give yourself the tool to do that. So for a tangible, practical way, like, the reason I like to focus on media interviews is because when I work with somebody on their media interview, we'll figure out what is your core message, what is the key transformational aspect of the work you're bringing to the table, what are the examples or the concepts that your audience needs to understand in order to decide, wow, I really want to do something about it, and then step into the next level of offer. Yeah. So it's that happens through the building of the right media interviews. So I'll do some of that work one-on-one, and then the other thing that happens is confidence comes through action, but it also comes through feeling like you've got your quote unquote shit together enough to do what you want to do. Yeah. So some of the objections I've seen around not getting yourself visible enough or not getting heard enough has to do, well, it'll come out as amateurish. It won't be pro. I don't have what it takes to put it out there. So one of the programs I'm currently opening up this year in 2017 is called the She's a Changemaker Sister Mind and Spotlight Retreat. And it's designed to work one-on-one and in a group format, working through the different layers of clarity and confidence to really naming and owning that core thing, your core message, your core offer, the core positioning point that you want to bring into a media interview. But then what we do is, during a 4-day retreat, I bring in my TV producer, photographer, all the pros, and we build the She's a Changemaker show, because I used to host a TV show, so I like to do TV. It's fun. Yeah, it's awesome. So we're creating the full TV set and everybody's getting featured. I figure everybody wants to sit on Oprah's couch. Well, my ideal clients, most of them say, I want to be on Oprah someday. So I'm like, you'll sit on my couch first.
Yeah. Hey, you're the future Oprah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, why not, right? So everybody's doing their own TV segments. They're also a little professional demo. So everybody will have a standalone clip that they can use as an example to feature your marketing. Also, when you approach media, you have a sense of, hey, I've got my shit together, because you have this proof, along with a professional photo shoot, and then, connected pieces of the key elements of the brand that you want to have together to promote yourself to media, and how to pitch and monetize your media as well. So there's other experts I'm bringing in to kind of complement the work that I do. But I wanting to design this kind of experience as a fun, playful experience. And really at the end of it, you get the version of you who's been dreaming of having an empire and having the reach. And you get this version of you, whether you've built the empire at this point or not. It's not almost irrelevant. Like, you're going to have more marketing, more reach, but you'll have mostly more confidence that you can do it. It's if you know you need to do it, then you have to become the person who's able to first. So through the doing, we do the personal growth.
Yeah, I love it. This is awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Super fun.
And so, anybody watching, if they want to join this program, or if they want to get in touch with you, where do they have to go? What do they have to do?
Okay, so at this point of the recording, the best place is to go to my website, Anne-SophieDumetz.com. So that's like my whole long, beautiful name.com.
I'll put it at the bottom of this email or this video. Yeah.
So, and then you do /sistermind-VIP. That's the VIP list for the Sistermind. At this point, the page isn't live, but I think by the time that this is broadcast, probably the program page will be live. I guess the key details to know is that there are 2 retreat dates. One is happening in the late spring, early June. The other one is going to be happening in the fall. They're happening in Kelowna in the Okanagan Valley, which is kind of like Napa Valley North. We have wineries and mountains and lake and all kinds of beautiful, beautiful things. And, there's amazing film and TV people here. So the person who's actually going to be doing the video, he just recently wrapped up shooting with Nicolas Cage and Wesley Snipes. So, he's a pro. He's really a pro.
Yeah.
I'm bringing really awesome people in, and it really is designed to be sort of spacious enough and supportive enough to feel safe in the progress and evolution. And it's like a hybrid one-on-one and group program, because that's always what I've wanted. So, and a lot of my clients, and Linda and I were talking about this, like how the hybrid format tends to just be really great to have community, but also have one-on-one support, because everybody's so different. And
that's right.
It's required.
And you can learn within the group, but you can also make leaps and bounds, within the context of a one-to-one.
And actually, like, one of the fun things too that we'll be doing is on interviewing skills. So how to interview and how to be interviewed. And there's some playful practice. One of the things I did recently, which is my 2-year-old would freak out. My inner 2-year-old would be like, what? So I've done some improv comedy.
Oh, yes, I saw you.
So we're actually going to bring in some of the improv comedy games into the retreat to build trust and confidence. So, because that's the reason I did improv comedy, was continue to build my own trust and confidence and ability to trust my voice no matter what. And when it comes to media, you never know what people will ask you. So you have to trust that you're going to have the right answer and be able to direct the conversation where you want it to go. Yes.
And I have to say, like, based on this conversation, you are a real pro, because you really know how to bring it to where it needs to go. It's delightful to have you as a guest. It's really nice. So if anybody wants to become a pro like Anne-Sophie, they know where. They just go to her site and check her out, because not only is she absolutely a genius at what she does, she's so authentic. And I mean, I really, really enjoy seeing what you put out there, Anne-Sophie. It is really amazing. It's really
Thank you so much. Yeah, likewise. It's really great to be in a community of collaborative, big-hearted women.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's about, right? As I say, abundance for all, right? And that's what it's.
Yeah. Awesome. And what's cool too about this interview is that we're both doing this unscripted.
Yeah, of course.
Really the best conversations happen when you can just, you have a sense of what needs to be shared and you just go with it.
Yeah.
And that's really the way I like to teach interviewing, is to do enough practice that you feel like you trust yourself, you know what you're going to say, you have a sense of what are your catchphrases, and you use them.
Yeah.
But you don't need to have, like, you know, the teleprompter and the things. Like there's a space for that stuff.
Yeah.
But when it comes for our coaching industry, it's really important to just know that you're cool with who you are. You have a transformational, cathartic message and work to share. And you have the way to share it and convey it with confidence, with clarity, with energy that becomes contagious to the people who receive it.
Yeah. And they do receive it.
Yeah.
Like with their heart and soul, rather than just their ears and their head.
Yeah, that's where the R words come in. Resonance is having a resonance of message from your soul to mine. And then reach comes second. You can't build reach without resonance. Otherwise, it's just going to fall on deaf ears. It's like doing echo at the edge of a cliff and it just never comes back, right? So the reach comes after that. And a third R word is relatability, being able to be very relatable. Because if all we do is share stories of, I don't know, like that just are not appealing to the audience, they're going to be like, whatever, they think they're better than me and they won't get me. So what would I really get from getting to know them? So
and sincerely, this is exactly why I do this work, is to allow people to see that no matter where you've come from, no matter what you do, no matter, what your context has been or currently is today, there's always a way. Like there's always hope. And, and people like you illustrate this so beautifully. And, how you've taken sort of any of your struggles, all of your struggles, and really transform them to be who you are today in the world, and making such a huge, generous contribution that you're making.
Thank you. And I want to say to your audience too, that I've gone through a lot, and I know that you, the audience, has gone through a lot, and I'm continuing to go through several things, but I've become the person who can handle it. Yeah. I'm not like sitting in my puddle going, oh my God, that fell on my head and now what, and choose not to expand the drama. And that's the journey. That's the choice. That's the commitment of recommitting every single freaking day.
Yes.
Who are you here to be on this planet? Like, we have one chance to live life. Yes. And I have one chance at today. So I'm really glad that we were able to connect here today.
Yes. I really want to acknowledge you for your generosity, for your authenticity, for your spirit, for your energy that you bring to everything you do. It is gorgeous. And I sincerely thank you for being here and doing this today.
Thank you so much, Linda. And thank you so much for having me and hosting this space for everyone.
It's my pleasure. So thank you, everyone. And I will put all the information about Anne-Sophie Dumetz at the bottom of this video. And please do check her out. And I thank you also for joining. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.